Okay, I've got this dragon's seams all filled up. You can clearly see right through here. There's a seam there. There's one right there. Each side of the wings, and on the underside, which you can still see right there. And that one actually got pretty good. You can see a little bit of it right along there where my finger's at. And the head turned out pretty good. Trying to see where it was. Look at this in the light, remember. Okay. So, if I'm not mistaken, right along there. I did pretty good, and then it kind of cuts across there, runs right up through here. And then right along through here. Now some of that is, it looks like it's the seam itself right there where that's actually a skin fold. So, and then again right along there, which you can actually see it right there. Now, in doing this, I've kind of figured out a couple things. Obviously, this is the first time using this. I have not sanded any of this. I haven't done much of anything. I just kind of slathered it on there and worked on the application aspect of it. The first part of it that I did was this section here, which is obvious because this side you really can't tell, but this side you can. And what's even crazier is when I put the UV light on, you can clearly see all of that goop in that seam, whereas on the other side you really can't see that much of it at all. So that darker area, that's where it's all at. So the first attempt that I did wasn't very good, but then I got slowly better and better at it. And what I found is that when I first put it on, I caked it because I wasn't sure if it was gonna shrink, pull. I didn't know what to do, so I just caked it on and went from there. So that's why this side looks so rough. After that, though, I started realizing that in my first video I said the consistency of this stuff reminds me of like a bar of soap that's been left in water too long. That's not what it reminds me of. A little bit, yes, but what it exactly reminds me of, I figured this out while messing with this. It reminds me of Vaseline. Specifically. It's got the exact same characteristics. Everything about it is almost identical to Vaseline. So putting it on, I tried scraping as much of it off as I possibly could, and it filled the seams greatly. Now, what I really, really like about this, I filled in all the drain holes on the bottom here. Here, there's, I gotta try to remember where they're all at. Right here. Ah. Let me see here. Okay, right there. There's a big one right there. Which again, once I put the light on it, it shows up pretty good. So, there we go. So you can see it clearly there. And then there's a bunch more all the way down through this tail even on the back side in between this leg and the bottom of the tail. There's one right there. I think that was it. Now, when I was doing these, this is what I found out. This was pretty cool. Let me try to get this somewhere where he's not going to fall over and break. All right. I have sanded the base and gotten it all ready. Now, I did not fill the drain holes on these. Obviously, this is all dried out. Nothing's oozing or leaking. And it shouldn't be, because I printed this so long ago that it's had more than enough time. Plus, I've gotten a little bit better on my cleanup, so having stuff ooze and drain, even like these, none of this stuff's draining. I used to have a problem with that, but I think that was because I was using Mr. Green to clean with instead of IPA. And ever since I switched to IPA, and I try to keep my IPA cleaner, much cleaner, I'm having easier time with the cleanup. Now, this is what I'm going to show you. Like I said, it's got almost the exact same consistency of Vaseline. Now, what I found with doing those ones is that literally I can go right like that, and that's very nicely covering. I pushed the second push, I pushed a little bit too far in there. But I keep pushing it further in. All right, there we go. Nice and flat. Let me close this up because I'm going to have this UV light right over it. Now, the crazy thing is, this stuff cures. It says cures in 15 seconds. That was not 15 seconds. There's a little bit, just a little bit there. I got most of that from the center of that piece there. This stuff cures extremely fast. Now, I got a big glob here. I think the less that you have on whatever you may be doing, the faster it cures. Because this is the first time I've had a large circle that it didn't cure as fast. So, of course, now that I'm videoing it, it's going to make a liar out of me. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. But I can also see it. So, as it's cured, I can see a difference in the... I don't know how to explain it. So, I don't know if that showed up very well on camera. The consistency of it. It's kind of strange. So it went from the Vaseline looking like stuff, and it kind of grayed over once it cured. Now, one of the things, I think my UV light's getting ready to crap out, or my batteries are getting kind of dead. So my wife just came home and I can hear her talking in the other room. Hopefully that's not transferring into this video. Okay, I'm going to shut this off because I think all of her conversation is being recorded on my video. I'm going to finish these up and then I'll be back. I'll probably be back once I get, because this is the last bit that I have to do. Once I get this all done, I'm going to prime this and then I'll be back. And I am leaving that rough on purpose because I want to see what it looks like once it's painted with a minimal amount of effort put into it, just slathering it on, see what happens. Most of it I'm pretty cool with being a little bit rough because it's got scales and all that other kinds of stuff. But I didn't want to put a whole bunch of effort and cleaning up and blah, 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 and making it look really great because I want to see what a fast, half-assed job will end up looking like. So that's why I'm doing it that way. All right, I'll be back later. All right, so it's the next day. Last night I was working on this stuff, and my wife came home and was talking on the phone, so that picked up in my video. So decided to stop and pick up this morning. So what I've done here is I filled all the drain holes on the back side of this base this morning, obviously using this. One of the things I did also was I sanded this down. Now, I was kind of curious on this base. Everything on the Dragon looks more like the rest of these. You can kind of see this glare down here where you can see it's rough. It's not, obviously this one is a little bit better. I've got some low spots in that. I only went over this stuff once and then sanded it down to see how well it sands. Now I've already cured this. It's still a little tacky, feels a little wet, which you can clearly see. It's as I'm pushing into the dry area, that's pushed, so it is still a little wet, and I can feel it on my fingers. I've actually been sitting here. The thing that I noticed mostly, and I can't remember what I was talking about last night, so this may be repetitive. On this Dragon, a lot of the spots that I filled on this are extremely small. And I had no problems with it as far as filling the gaps. Now, on this, these are much bigger holes. It took a lot more material to get in there and to finally get it to... Essentially what I was doing was I was just filling the inside of the base until it built up enough to where it would catch the edges. So doing a base or a large area, this might not be the best method to use. And kind of until you I mean, this is 120 grit. It doesn't really sand that well, hence the reason why I'm using a 120. And I don't know if that's because I don't have it fully cured. But I mean, it looks flat until I've got a couple of low spots. That may be high spots still. So there we go. I think in the future, what I may end up doing is not using this stuff for bases. I mean, it fills just fine, and it's... Okay, so here we are. I've got this primed now with black. And honestly, after looking at this for quite a bit, I can't find any of my seams that I had in here. Even this, I think it was this side. This side looked pretty rough when I first did it. And honestly, you kind of can't tell. It blends in very, very nicely. I know there's seams on both edges right along here. Can't really see it either way. There's a little bit right through there because that's where one of the seams was. This one right here, this is kind of noticeable. And again, I didn't prep this stuff. I didn't clean it up all that well. I didn't sand it. I didn't do anything. I just slathered it on to see what the end result's gonna look like. To be honest, once the paint got on here, I think it did a great job of covering everything up. There's a seam somewhere along here. I can't even see it where this head connected. I think it's like right along there. But I honestly, where that connection is, I think there's part of it right through here. But that looks pretty good. Again, I didn't sand anything. I just, like I said, I just lathered it on. So, and the drain holes, all right, there's one right here. Trying to get some angles of light to hit that. You can kind of see where it's all nice and shiny, and then it's kind of dull right there. But again, that you can't really tell. The bottom of the foot, here and here, I think that's where this one was down here. Can't really tell. The bottom of these feet, you can see the outline of that one. And you can see that one right there, right about there. Now, obviously, those don't matter because his feet are going to be, and that's where I'm going to glue this, and you'll never even be able to see where those are at. So, and then I got the bottom of this one covered up, all sanded real nice. Obviously, I sanded this, but I didn't do that good of a job of it because it's the base and it's always going to be sitting down. So, anyway, working on priming stuff today. I've been priming these little guys, getting them ready for paint. Other than that, that's where I'm at. I'm really happy with how this turned out for not actually prepping any of the seam filling. It's the first time I've ever filled a seam and just left it and then painted it. And I think it turned out pretty good. So pretty happy with this stuff. That's a definite use again. All right, see ya. Okay, so today I've got this primed with an easy layer of white. And now that it's white, you can really see the seams. There's some little bit of stuff going on here, obviously. Again, it's because none of this was sanded. It was just filled. To be honest, as I was looking through here with the painting the white on here, I had a very difficult time finding where some of this stuff was. And even this one right here, this was the really ugly looking one. This doesn't look all that bad. It actually just looks like parts of the mold or the scaling again. So I'm really shocked around this neck area how little of this actually showed up of this seam. So on the interior of the neck, you can see right across there. So anyway, I'm gonna get this knocked out and painted, and then I'll show you guys what the final product looks like. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I'm starting this off with no light just for the simple fact I love the way this looks in the dark with the shadow, with the eye glowing like that. But here it is, the finished product. This has been completely painted and completely, everything's done on it. Ooh, that eye's still glowing. That's kind of cool. I don't know why it's doing that, but it looks kind of cool. I guess it's the varnish that I sprayed on there that's making it kind of shine like that. But the eye is actually gray. Yeah, there it goes. It's just the little glint. Actually, that's not even the eye. I think that glint is right there. The eye is a little bit forward of that. Interesting. There's the eye. You can see it now. But anyway, so this is completely done. And the main thing that I'm amazed at is that this is the easiest seam fill that I have ever done. And I did a completely half-assed job, as I've said time and time again. And I'm going to be repetitive, so bear with me. I did this as easy as I could possibly do, and I can't barely see any seams in this whatsoever. I remember there's a seam that runs across here and another one back in here somewhere. But on camera, you can't see them at all. And then with my naked eye trying to look at it from right here, I honestly can't find them. And I just slathered that stuff on, didn't sand, didn't do anything like that, like I've said before. Even this one wing here, obviously I put a nice dark patch of, or spot of paint right through there. And then with this little bit of lighter paint here, really kind of makes that just kind of really blend in. I think it turned out great. And again, I'm dumbfounded on how well this turned out. As far as the seams. So paint job's all done. I think this looked pretty cool. I don't think I've done any green dragons thus far, but this guy turned out pretty good. I'm digging it. Green's not a color that I care for because I spent my entire life in the military wearing green, so I don't like green. I have nothing against it other than the fact that I had to wear it for almost 20 years. So, but this is all done. This is gonna hopefully find a spot somewhere. I have no open shelf space, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this or where it's gonna end up at. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys might want to test this stuff out. This light curing putty. This worked extremely well. This is my new seam filling method for any models I do in the future. It's going to be that. So, all right. I'm really curious what it's going to look like if I actually do a seam and then process it afterwards. Process, is that the word? Clean it up a lot more after I get it cured and what it's going to look like at that point. So stay tuned. More to come. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Take care.